Hey everyone, it's Cheryl from Tinker's Cart Art, and I'm going to paint an Uncle Sam for 4th of July. July's going to be here before we know it. So I've been kind of playing around with some ideas for one of these long 10 by 20 canvases. But I have to say, this would be really fun to paint on a piece of wood if you just went to Home Depot or whatnot and got a 10-inch board. They could cut it to where you want it. I'd like to see this on a wood board. I think it would be cool. I have a rough idea of what I'm doing. I designed this Uncle Sam on my iPad in the Procreate app. And I've just done a little sketch right now. So once we're all done, and I like the way he looks, I'll make a tracer and a supply list. But I'm just going to kind of paint it on the fly, and I thought maybe you'd want to watch. And like I said, I'll have the information later for you as far as if you want to get a tracer and follow the video. So let me turn the camera so you can sort of see what I'm doing here. And just so you get a better look as I'm painting along. It's an awkward sized canvas, so it's a little hard to position, but I think that might work. All I did to start was paint the background around the design. Whoops, let me get my blue paint was holding my stand for my camera. So a primary blue, I'll put that back. Primary blue, ultramarine blue, whatever you have. I wanted a fairly dark background. I just put on a couple coats with a wide brush. I tried to use various brush strokes so that it wouldn't look so streaky as if you went one way or the other. So just kind of slap the paint on. I did use a couple coats. I want to do my Uncle Sam, and I also want a background of some fireworks. So I think what I'm going to do to start is just spatter on some stars, which I do with an old toothbrush. I want to do it now because I don't want it to be on top of Uncle Sam. I want it behind him. So all I do is take a little water into my white paint, thin it down a little bit. This is a great technique for snow or stars or anything like that. And I just spatter. So that's just going to be a little bit of stars in the background, just something to give that background a little pizzazz. And we are going to, like I said, paint some fireworks. Now, the fireworks are going to be kind of in the yellows, maybe some green, some orange. Those colors would not show up well on this dark background. So what I'm going to do when the spattering is dry is paint the fireworks in white. And then when I go over them when they're dry, I can get the color to show. If we tried yellow or orange on here now, it would be so translucent you'd see right through it. So I'm going to give that a second to dry. I'm going to grab some blue paint without tipping my camera over. And with a little fine brush, I'm just going to take the white and paint it where I would want some fireworks later. And it's random. You can put them anywhere, as little or as many as you want. I just start by putting like a little dot, and I'm just putting some lines out. I am not making perfect lines. I'm just kind of dotting, pulling. Can you see? Just little jagged lines like that to indicate where the fireworks will be later. We're also going to put a sparkler in his hand, so maybe I will... actually, no, I'm not going to do the sparkler yet because I'm not sure where that is. He's just a rough sketch, so I'm going to kind of play around with that as I go. As far as colors, you don't need much for this painting. You need your blue, which like I said is a primary blue or an ultramarine. You need white and black, red, yellow. I have a flesh color that I'm going to use for his face and his hands. We can always have mixed that. If you don't have a flesh, you could use white with a little red and perhaps maybe a little bit of brown or burnt sienna. But if you have a flesh color that you like, just use that. I have these little colors I'm going to use for the fireworks in bottles, but I do like to mix a lot of colors and show you how I mix them. With just the primaries, we could have just mixed our yellow and blue, yellow and red, and got our orange, and I do like that lime green, so I'm going to use that. I have that in my kit, so. And a funny story is I'm actually up in Maine. I have a summer place here, a little trailer on the beach. And I brought my paint and all my fixings to film, but I guess I forgot my paintbrushes. So I just ran to the dollar store and just bought some dollar store paintbrushes. So sometimes it's not all about having everything you need, you kind of improvise. I think it's going to be fun with this background with some little ones off in the background. I really like the idea of the fireworks in the back, so I'm going to maybe go a little too crazy with them. I actually would have the sparkler Here, I guess maybe I shouldn't have made such a close firework to the sparkler, but you know what? Actually, let's turn this this is going to be the end of the sparkler. So we're going to make that, the sparkler in his hand. We'll kind of do this. I'll form his hand around that. It's probably a little crooked because I'm sitting down and not standing up. Let me straighten that out. I don't like it that crooked. It should go like this. I'm simply going to take some of the blue paint and erase that little area where I didn't like it. And I'm doing it white. Probably be gray. Those sparklers are a little gray. It's still not perfectly straight, but this is kind of a whimsical little painting. It's a little whimsical Uncle Sam. Let's not worry about it too much. Okay, so that'll be the sparkler he's holding. I'm going to make a few more little guys down here. Would you maybe see them that low, close to the horizon? No, but it's a painting. We can do whatever we want. We can alter reality. It's just for fun. Can't wait to see those in color. I'll do one over in the corner here, and that might be it. We don't want to put them really on the ground. And most of this painting, when you do it and you get the tracer, is going to be a little paint by number-ish. You're just really filling in the areas. And on top, we'll do a little shading and decorative touches. But really, it's going to be just basing in the colors. Probably need multiple coats. So, for instance, on the flag over here, even though the canvas is white, we still paint our white on. And I'm just going to paint this background here of the flag. Now, since we have a blue background, this is typically the color blue I would use for my flag, but since it's a different background, I mean that same color background, we're going to make a little bit of a lighter blue for that section, and I'm going to put a coat on him too. So I'm just going to mix the blue we have out with some white, and I just always have to turn the canvas different ways to try to get my lines sort of straight. And let's just get the flag based in, and then we'll worry about that light blue that we're going to do. Yeah, I am dying to try him on a piece of wood. I think he would look nice and rustic on kind of a pallet board or a pine board. So see, you can see through a little bit in places, and if that bothers you, you can always do a second coat. And what else? His hat is going to be white with red stripes. So let me, since I have the white, I'm going to do the brim red, and I'm going to do this little section blue so I can put some stars on it. But the top of the hat is going to be striped. So let's get the white background in there first. So I just put my hand in the fireworks, but those little smudges will be all right. It won't really matter. You can touch that up with a little blue. I tend to like to work pretty fast, and things don't always have a time to dry. And remember, you can always have your hair dryer or heat gun handy to speed up the drying if you need to, waiting for a second coat on or something. All right, this is going to be Uncle Sam's hat. And it'll be much easier when it's a traceable design. I'm just freehanding it to figure out how I want it to look. So his hair is going to be whitish, but I'm going to base coat it in gray, and I'll show you why. I like to get a little technique there that looks like hair. So what else do we have white? His shirt underneath the jacket and under the bow tie is going to be white, so we'll put a little white in there. And his pants are going to be white because they're going to have a red stripes. So let me get this little piece of blue. It's a little bit of my blue that dripped here, and it will just drag in and get that whole pant light blue. So let's just remove that best we can and go right over that with our white. Try to get the pants straight down from the middle there. I'm going to put them with like a little top coat sort of. And like I said, that's going to be that light blue. So it'll be fun to have a few paintings for July, some fun summer paintings. You could put him out for Flag Day, Memorial Day too. Or just if you have a patriotic theme, you could use him out anytime you want. If it was on the wood plaque, you wanted to paint him and then put a finish on it, you could hang him outside, or a slate. The legs are a little wonky there, but I'll straighten them out with the white, and then we will also straighten them out when we're doing the red stripes. So no worries, I just have this little kind of a weird shaped leg here. Let's straighten that out. And these are just acrylic paints, just the little craft paints that you find in the craft stores. There. Okay, so I'm going to do the flesh next. So because I'm doing that, I'm just going to wipe off my brush and go right into my flesh color. And we're going to paint his face. Going to have kind of crazy hair going out to the sides. A little Albert Einsteinish. Okay. And because I went overshot that little area with the flesh, you can take just a regular little brush with some water on it and you can just touch that up. You can just remove it. I'm just going to scooch it away. There. And sometimes I have to hold things upside down or this way and that to try to see if it's even, and it's very uneven. So I want to get his face even there. Okay. And that might be good enough for now. He has a neck in here, but you know what? The bow tie covers it. Let's do his hands. I'm sort of not doing his hands realistic. I'm sort of just making them. This one's going to be holding the flag post. So let me just get an idea where that flag pole, how that is coming down. And then we can make it in his hand. Okay, so now I know where his hand should go, really. And we are just going to paint a little. They're almost like he's wearing mittens. I'm not going to worry about fingers and fingernails and all that. I'm just going to do a little. Thumb would be going around there. And just, it looks like a little mitten for now, but this is just, like I said, a little whimsical Santa. Let me touch up a little blue here. And there. And I'll make it with a little shading look a little more like he's holding the flag afterwards. I just want to get them on here for now. This hand is going to hold that sparkler. And that's going to have out this little thumb. Okay. Actually, his thumb is going to go over here. Let me think. His hand would be wrapped around like this, and the thumb would be like that. The sparkle is going to go in between. So let me go back and fill this in a little bit. If I had the tracing, I wouldn't have all this back and forth, but I'm just sort of, like I said, doing it on the fly. And we'll fix that afterwards to make it look like he's holding the flag. Okay. You'll need a couple coats, but let's let it dry. So I'm going to rinse that brush off. I'm going to paint in where his little beard and his hair is going to go, just in a gray. And I'm going to just mix up a little white and black. And I'm just going to paint in. He's got this crazy hair I'm going to have sticking out from the side of his head. From under his hat. There. See, just kind of flying out on the side. I'm sort of just putting it like that. He's got this little beardy thing, which even though the face is a little wet, I'm going to just put it in. I know it's a weird angle to try to see what I'm doing. I'll try to hold it a little different. It's just that to get a long canvas in this, into the videos, a little tougher. But I want to have you sort of see what I'm doing. And again, I'm touching up with the blue because I've only sketched this on. I'm not sure where the lines are exactly, so I'm just touching that up. And now I'm going to paint the red. So I have, actually no, because I only have the stripes in red. I'm going to paint the light blue areas. So I'm just taking some of that blue that we used for the background, same blue. Now, if you have blue in a little jar and you like the shade of it, go ahead and use it, but I'm just going to mix this. So I just want a lighter shade. And that's going to be my flag star field here. Just to have it show up, it's just going to be that light blue. We're creating the painting so we can do it whatever we like. Just pick a shade you like. You guys can let me know in the comments, because I am going to upload this, what you're all painting for the summer. I'm always a little late. I probably should be doing July 2 months ago. I did say I was going to do Christmas in July this year, so once July gets here, I am going to try to do some Christmas paintings. But it is fun to do some summer beach paintings. We have some beach paintings coming up on the Facebook page. And a mermaid painting coming up at the end of the month. And you'll find information about that on the page. Okay, so now we're going to do his jacket. I'm going to do it lighter blue and maybe a different shade for the lapels. So let me just paint the jacket body itself first. And again, I'm kind of just eyeballing this, so if anything I don't like the way something looks after, I can change it by just painting over little bits and pieces. You guys get to be here on the planning stage almost, just kind of jumping on to. It doesn't matter what brush you're using. I'm using this big round. You could certainly do it with the square. I do love my square brushes. You can get nice wide strokes with them, or you can get a nice thin stroke with it when it's on its chisel edge. So, but now I'm just painting it. I'm blocking it. It's paint by number almost. I think I'm gonna do red collar. I had done it a different shade of blue on the iPad, but with that dark blue and this blue, there's not really another shade I want to use. So I'm going to do it red, I believe. So once I put this video up on the page, it'll be there for you to watch. It'll also be on YouTube. So if you are on YouTube and you want to follow me there's lots of paintings there that you can try. And this one will be there as well. I try to do a few, painting tutorials, some free classes and things on the page. And the group, there's also a group, and this will be in the group too, Learn to Paint with Cheryl. That's a new little group we have just created, and it's really a nice place to be. It is, videos seem to show up more in the group, so when I go live, I've been having a little trouble with Facebook on the business page. So if you follow me there, thank you. But if you would like to join this free group, which it's called Learn to Paint with Cheryl, you'll see it on my page. Do join there. It's a nice place to network with other artists, talk, about what you're working on. It's a nice no judgment zone. People will help you with your paintings if you need help, or you just want opinions and want to learn about techniques. There's plenty of people there who will help you, and I'm on there myself, so I would be happy to help you too. So do look at that group if you would like to learn. You'll find some cool stuff. All right, let's get this jacket. This is going to, like I said, be kind of a, what do you call it? Top coat? Tails. No, tails. It's got the long thing. So let me just fill this in. I'm painting the light blue, and I'm sort of just mixing it as I go. You could mix a big pile of color first if you wanted, but I sort of mix it as I go. And he is looking a little wonky because I don't really have him traced on properly, but like I said, it'll be fine. We'll fix him as we go. And again, he's whimsical. I don't worry about him being perfectly anatomically correct. I just want to make it so it does look a little even here. I need a little more of that blue. So the center is coming right down here. So this will be the center of his jacket. So it'll go out a little bit like this. As you go, you can see I add a lot of water to my paint. When the paint starts to drag on me, I add water so it will flow along nicely. Especially as the paint's been sitting out. And certainly just add water whenever you need to. Let's give him a shape now. He needs a little bit of a shape with those tails. I kind of went in and a little bit out. Can't wait to see him done. You don't see a lot of Uncle Sam or Patriotic signs in painting, so it's fun to do our own here. And you could personalize them up somehow if you want to write something across the bottom, maybe your favorite summer place or wherever you spend 4th of July, or let freedom ring, or some cool patriotic saying. I think that would be great. I couldn't think of what I wanted to put, so I didn't put anything yet, but you certainly could. Now, I think they should kind of hang down a little bit. He's very tall. I've kind of elongated him, and I want this to kind of wrap around the back of the legs a little bit, like those tails would. That dries. I'll do a second coat because it's a little bit of white showing in there, but I just want to get the placement of it right. Down and down like that, maybe. That's not bad. It's got a weird kind of a there, but I'll do that. And I can always take the white paint, change it if I want. There, that's the idea. Anyway, so now I'm going to go back. Oh, it's got the little blue bit in his hat where we're going to put some stars on his hat. So this little field here is going to be the light blue too. So let's put that in. It's just the hat band right here. And I'll show you a quick little way to paint stars. It's not anything fancy. They're not all perfect, but you'll know that they're stars anyway. Yep, you can kind of see there a little bit. And like I said, this is really just painting in. So if you can't see every stroke I make, it's really not important because you're going to trace your design on. I have a little video that shows you how to trace on. If you haven't done that before, it shows you what you need to do. And that's pretty easy. I see I've been really putting my hand up here in this blue. It's kind of smudged, which, you know what, that might even just work as kind of little fireworks bits. But anyway, okay, I'm going to paint a little red while that blue dries. You know what? I'm going to put a second coat of white first because as that dries, then we can put our red stripes on and whatnot. So let's paint that little bit of white in that we need to. You don't have to cover the whole thing. If you just see some lines showing through a color, you could just touch up those bits. And again, with your white, with your red stripes afterwards, it's not going to be imperative that you have a perfectly white background in these areas. I've got a couple of little ceramic gnomes over here that when I finish, I'm going to paint up as little Uncle Sam gnomes. I'll make another little quick video of that because they'll be pretty quick and easy. I might even just jump on live and do that. You might see that on the page here. Okay, that, a little bit of white on his shirt. Really, so you see what I'm doing? I'm just filling in colors and giving him a little bit of a second coat. It's pretty easy stuff. You hardly need a video for that, but I thought it would be fun to have company while I painted. Okay, a little bit of the pants are see-through. I'm just going to cover up those lines. If you need to shape your jacket, you could do that. And even though it's a replay, when you're watching, put in the comments that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. I always get a kick out of seeing people from all over the country and all over the world sometimes watching the videos. That is the cool thing about social media. You can be from anywhere and all connect somewhere on a page of something of an interest that you might like. Okay. Why don't I quickly do a little second coat of the flesh color. And I'll show you why I did the hair in gray too. Just to show you how you can get a nice effect for hair there. Okay, so that's good. The hands are weird looking, but we're going to work on them and they'll be okay. Again, they're just little whimsical Uncle Sam hands. All right. I think his hand is backwards there. I'm going to change that up a little bit. I'll just do it like that for now. Now we'll do some of the red. I'll do that collar, the lapel, a little bit of the hat. Just wanted to make sure it was sort of red, white, and bluish, so I wanted to add a little red. Red sometimes is pretty transparent, so you will need a couple coats perhaps, but we'll just do this little brim. And you can see when it's trying to go over the dark blue, it really doesn't cover well. What I tell people is if there's a place that you need to cover better, add a little white. It will really make it opaque. And then the second coat of red will really cover well. So it looks good already with that little pop of red. It's kind of pinkish, but that's okay because it will be red when we're done. So there's the top of the hat. We'll do the lapels. I'm trying not to put my hand in all the wet bits. Okay, so let's try this. His bow tie is going to be red too, so I'll paint that in next. Let's get where this lapel is going to go first. Okay, do this. He's looking a little patriotic now that he's got his red, white, and blue, I think. These dollar store brushes are not bad, actually. I was wondering how they were, and now I've got a little bit of red paint I want to remove there, and you saw me do this before. Just take my brush, clean water on it, and you can just scooch it away. It's good to catch it while it's wet, and if it had dried, you could just certainly paint over it with the white, a few coats if you needed to, so don't worry if it has dried, but if I can get rid of it then, even better. There. Let's get that other lapel in there, and his bow tie, and some stripes maybe. I even brought some glitter paints. I'm not sure I'm going to use them, but I have some red and blue, like they're glamour dust, they're called. They just have a little shimmer to them. I thought that might be kind of fun on our Uncle Sam painting. I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay. And I'll put some yellow buttons on his jacket. Maybe I'll do the flagpole yellow. His sparkler, I guess, they're more silvery, so we'll leave that. Actually, I don't know if I brought any metallic silver, but you know what? I think I would add that to his sparkler handle and his sparkler. Okay. Make that line a little straighter. There we go. Okay, I'm going to use the round brush for my bow tie. It'll be a little easier. Or actually, maybe the little square brush. And the bow tie is going to be, let's see, I kind of put it under his little beard thing on my design. So let's do it that way. And again, I know it looks very pink, but when that dries, we'll do a few coats of that red and we'll be fine with that. I think just in this teensy little place here, some white, just where his little collar is going to kind of come up, or his part of his shirt there. Just going to put that in with a little small brush, a little round. And let's work on his hair. So I've got a little round brush, got white paint, and we're just going to go over the gray. And I'm not going to cover it solid. I'm going to just take and just make little, like, hair growing out. And I don't mind some gray showing. So I'm just going to thin down the paint a little bit with some water. And see how I'm just really kind of making just little brush strokes there. And it just looks a little more like hair because you get some dimension with the dark behind it. Do the same thing on the other side. Start at the bottom and work up the direction the hair grows. And it'll look a little more natural. You can make it as heavy as you'd like, or you could go back if it's not bright enough white for you. You can always go back later. Looks kind of cool. I think I would go back and put a little more brighter white after that dries. Same on his little goatee here. We're just going to start at the bottom and just use the strokes, like so it'll be like hair. And I'm going to even overshoot the little gray that I painted. And I'm trying not to bring that white in, the pink, the red to make it pink, but we'll touch that up after. So let that dry. I do know I'm going to put little rosy cheeks on him, and since the flesh is a little wet, it's a good time to do it because I really want it to blend. Taking a little bit of red right into my flesh. I just want a little pinker shade darker than the flesh. I mean, he's Uncle Sam. We don't want to make him look like he has blush on, but I do like to put rosy little cheeks on my whimsical people. And it's just, let's just make, and see how you can't really even see it. So sometimes I have to mix it and then just add a little red. I don't want to have it too dark to start, but I'll just add some as I go and get it a little bit brighter. You can kind of see it there. They're just two little rosy cheeks. Make them as bright as you'd like, but start light and just get them a little heavier as you go. His nose, I'm going to do the same thing, just to kind of make so you know where his nose is. It's just going to be, and again, this is all trial and error, and if it doesn't work, then we can always paint it out. But I thought I would do kind of a little nose that was a little pink, just for the nose to make it show up a bit. He's going to have just little black dots for eyes, and a great way to make those is the back end of your brush. I'm going to put his eyes in so I know where his eyebrows are going to go. So I just did 2 little dots. It's a little bit small. Okay. And then with that little round brush, I'm going to paint on some eyebrows. Uncle Sam needs eyebrows. They can be a bit big and bushy if you want. And you know what, I think they're not showing up for him the way I like, so that's why I'm going to go back and I'm going to make them gray, and then when it's dry, go back and do just what we did for his hair. Let's just paint them gray to begin with, and we'll go back. And you can see where I put my hand in again, the blue paint. So let me just put that a little over the, I'm going to just cover it over that with my blue. Okay. All right, good. I see a little bit I missed over here because I changed the shape of his elbow. There. See there. Okay. Stars on the flag. I'm just using a round brush again. And almost like when you make those little stars, you know when you make those stars and you go like this, to do this sort of thing to make your stars. I know it's hard to see, let me do it in black. So you do this sort of thing just to make like little stars. I sort of do that on a small scale with my white paint. I'm not worried about perfect rows or the right amount of stars. It's decorative. We're just taking some white, and I'm just really just doing that little shape thing we do for stars. Very rough, they're not perfect, but they're star-like, and when someone looks at this, because we're looking at it this close because we're painting it, but someone else is looking at it far away, it is going to appear to be stars. I mean, you can get really fancy and careful if you want, but I just want the look of stars. Just a little appearance of them. I don't want you to have to struggle with it. I'm using a bit of a big brush. You can certainly use a littler one. But again, I just don't even want them perfect. I just want the little bit of a feel of a star. You can get as detailed as you want. My flag is a little folded over here. So this is the main part. I'm going to put the stripes here, but under here it's the back side. So I'm going to put a little shadow here just so that you can see that that's what it is. The flag is folded. I do that with a flat brush, usually fairly clean water. Actually, I have some more water right here, so let's just swap that out and get some clean water. Because I'm going to just do a technique where I'm just got water on my brush, just water, dabbing it off. I don't want dripping. I'm just going to take a little bit of that gray we were using on the corner of my brush. I just got it on the corner. I'm going to just pat that out a little bit, and you can see I'm going to have a nice little shadow there where that flag's turned. Can you see how nice that blended? Just because I used water on my brush, a little color on the corner, patted it out so that it blended. Oops, and then I got green, but you get the idea. And if it's too straight of a line and it's not soft like that, just take clear water on your brush and you can just soften that out. I just wanted it to look like it's been turned over. All right, so I'm going to put my red stripes on there, but I'm going to just get an idea of where the pole is going to be, and I'm going to do it in white so that when it's dry I could fill it in with yellow or gold. You see, I'm not even using a round brush, I'm using my flat brush on the side just for the chisel edge. You can get a nice thin line that way too. Over where we just put a guideline in, and we're going to do it white so that the yellow will show up after. There. Okay. It's taking a little while to dry, but I don't want to use the hairdryer. It's very noisy. No one wants to listen to that today, so I'm going to wherever I smudged my hand in there, just going to give it a quick little touch up. I want to do something on the jacket later. I'm not sure quite yet what, but let's see once we get him painted. Okay, so let's go and do some little lines. I'm going to use my little flat brush because it's about the size of the stripe I want on the flag. Get some red paint, and I suspect this paint is a little translucent. I suspect we'll do 2 coats, but let me just get 1 coat on there to see where the stripes are going, and when it dries, we'll add another coat. And I think I'm going to, and this is something you could sketch on. I'll have it on the tray, so you could sketch your lines on. When you paint your white over, you'd see those lines through, and you'd be able to follow them. I am just going to freehand those, though. And the paint's thick, so that's why I'm adding more water. I'm just going to get an idea where that's going to go. They're not going to be perfect. Don't try to make them perfect. There's no way to get them just right like that anyway. We just want the appearance of stripes. And this brush works well. It's a nice size. If I can sort of remember to leave a white streak between about the same width, not terribly important. I have them a little wonky, but you know what? I'm not worried. I don't mind. I'll just make this one sort of end a little bit there. This flag could be all twisted in the wind, so that's good for us. And now we'll just come underneath here. Make it coming out that way. Good enough, right? It's very wonky, but you know what? I don't mind. Stripes on his hat, we're going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to use the same brush. The width is good. The pants it might be a little thin for, but I'm going to start just right in the middle so I could go straight up. It's going to curve a little to the sides. Try to leave that little width of that brush there. He's coming along. He's starting to look like Uncle Sam. I also don't know if you have heard, but you may have because you follow me here, is I did start a membership recently. I haven't put a lot out there about it. It's brand new. We're just forming it, and it's been great so far. It is called the Tinker's Cardist membership. It's a paid membership, but right now, where it's brand new to me and brand new to you, I am offering a founding member price. So what it is it's $19 a month for the founding members, and that's for the lifetime that you belong. And there's no commitment. You can start anytime or end anytime. And it's a nice private group where we do lots of things in that group. You have private, we do live classes that's just for the Cardist group. We do Q&As live by Zoom where you can ask questions. You can have me demo things. You can have me critique paintings or help you with any problem or issue you're having with painting. We have a little guide within there of your artistic journey. So if you're an absolute beginner and never even painted before, you're welcome, and there's a place for you. If you have painted for quite a while, but you just want to have a nice community of painters and fresh ideas and new projects, it's great for you. There's a whole library in there that we're growing of paintings and tracers that you can just hop on and paint anytime. Or you could just do the content that we put in every month. We do the class, we do the critique. I do a tutorial every month on a piece of a painting. Little building blocks that you can use to further your painting. So we have done, for instance, waves one month. So we sit, I do the tutorial, we paint waves. You're welcome to paint with me or paint after and just watch. And I'll give you all kinds of reference photos, show you how to paint the wave. And then you have that little tutorial to keep and go back to whenever you might be painting something with waves. So it's nice because you have a lot of live interaction with me, and I'm always right there answering any questions you might post. But it's also great because of the other members. They're so wonderful and such a great supportive group. So that's a great element to it as well. So it is I've started it. I'm going to let in some members for probably 2 or 3 more weeks. Then we're going to close it, and I'm going to concentrate on the content and the people and what do they want. And then we will reopen again and it'll be more organized. But right now it's a great price and it's a great community because everybody's helping everyone and everyone's helping me. What do you want to see? I will add that kind of content. So if you want to get in on the ground floor, it is a good opportunity. And you can grow with us. And I'm there to guide you right through from beginner to not painting to just loving art, right to being an accomplished painter. Just doing it for fun if you want, or doing it to sell. It's never ending, our journey, and now what we learn. But I do welcome you to take a look at that. I will post the information again, but it is in the group. Or you can just send me a message and ask me about it, or put it in the post and ask me, and I'll be glad to address that. But we have a nice group right now, and it's been a lot of fun, and I love getting to know everybody. So please take a look at that if that's something you're interested in. Then we're going to reopen in the fall, and it'll be a little more organized, but the price will be a little more. So right now you really do save, and you lock in at that price, which is cool. And then, oh, you know what the other thing is any of my paid classes, you get all those paid classes free. So if you're a member, I usually have a couple of $10 classes a month, or some workshops that are a little more, or multi-day workshops. Those are all included in your membership. So you get just not only all the content for just you, but anything that's going out to my business page or my the free group, and if it's a charge class, you will get that for free, of course. And that's a savings right there, because just 2 classes a month would be more than the membership. If you're close by and you come to some of my in-person paint nights, which are starting up a little bit now, which is exciting, you do get a discount off of those. And any kits or anything that are on the website, you get a little discount off of those. So it's kind of a nice little bonus. I'm just doing little black shoes, just like this, pretty easy. Black's great, covers wonderfully. We will give it a highlight of gray or white after, just so you can see them. Actually, you know what will help to see those guys is if we put a little gray sole on them. So let's just make up a little gray here, so you can kind of see my palette a little bit, although it's pretty simple colors and things. Just a little gray, and they're just soles. Now what this is going to do basically is just, now you can really see his shoes. We can even do a little white gray, just a little commas on there, just so it looks like a little shine. I always put a little dot like that of white in the eyes too. These are pretty teensy, but you could drop a teensiest little dot in the eye, and it really makes those eyes come alive. And now, since we have that gray on there, let's just put a little white on and make those eyebrows a little bushier. And I'm going to take paint that's rather thick, the white that's rather thick, and almost glob it on there and get it a little heavier, so I have some dimension and bright white to his hair and beard. I'm laying it on a little thicker. I'm trying to get to the white that has been sitting out for a little bit, and I just kind of cool that way. And same with this little goatee. Try to glob it right on there. Okay. He needs a little mouth of some sort, where he's just a little whimsical guy. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm just going to take a really thin little round brush. I really watered the paint down. I want to give him kind of a little smirk. I don't want him to be sad. So I'm going to just make a little smirk. Okay. That red's still wet, but we do need a second coat. Let's play around with our fireworks. I'm going to just take the brighter colors that we had out and just go over them. So I'm taking my yellow, and I'm just going to blob it right on to what's there. You don't even have to worry about hitting it exact, because over the blue it's not even showing up. And if it does, it's just a little bit of a green haze, which is fine. So can you see how, well, you can't because you're a little further away, but you can see how much that yellow shows now. And if you did it before, you wouldn't even see it. So I'm just going over what I have for white there. I'm going to stand up so I can see that a little better. I'm going to do that with any color you choose. Your fireworks could be any color you like. And you know, you could get fancy. You could do like little shapes. If you've seen the fireworks at Disney, how cool are those? You could do a little Mickey head shape. Wouldn't that be great? If you're a Mickey fan, I'm a Mickey fan. I should have thought of that. Maybe on my next one, I will do that. We are doing an in-person class finally with this guy. The end of the month here in Maine, where I have a summer place, we're doing an in-person Uncle Sam class. So I can't wait to paint in person with people. And I'm just going to take random colors now and go over the white that is there. Even if some of the white shows, that's okay, because it's almost like a little reflection. Let's do this one down here, the orange as well. You see that? Here, I'll push it over. All right. And take a look if you like these whimsical kind of people. That's mermaid class I have coming up. I think it's the 30th, but it'll be on the page. And if you're on my email list, you will get emails about this too. And if you are not on my email list, look at the Tinker's Cart Art Facebook page. There is a button there to sign up for my email. Or simply just send me a message with your email. I'll make sure you know all of the things that are going on. I hate to have you miss any of the fun. Lots of times I'll go on live and paint too. Like I said, I might just jump on live and do those little gnomes. Wasn't sure the direction this guy was going to take. I thought maybe I would have to edit because I don't, you know, I had no tracer or anything. I'm just kind of drawing him on. But he's going on okay, I think, right? What do you think? I like him. What else? I think we could use, this is a sparkler one, so we're not going to do too much with color on that. I might just add a little more white and more little dotty, more like little dots for the sparkler. And when I get home and have access to my silver paint or glitter would be cool. Deco Art makes this thing called Twinkles. It's like a glitter. It's kind of, the crystal one is kind of clear, and you can put it over your colors and it just dries clear, and then you have all the cool sparkles. But you know what? I'm going to kind of see if I can just direct some of my spattering just there. I think that would be kind of a cool look. Let's see if that's able to be done. Let's just wet down some of that white again. I'm going to try to just spatter it right here, just right at his sparkler, a little heavier. There. That's kind of cool. Good. That worked. I will have to touch up his jacket. See, these are the little things that I didn't plan, but he's all different colors. I'll mix up a blue at the end, and we'll just make a nice blue coat on him. We need a color for this one. We'll do that one green. I'm just spacing them out. Doesn't matter too much. And we'll put our stars on him too. Green for this guy. Let's do that. And if it didn't show up enough to your liking, you could put a second coat and make it a little brighter. It's all up to you. You know what to do if you want information on the tracer for this guy when I'm done in the supply list. In the comments, put Uncle Sam. Put Uncle Sam in the comments, and I will send you a link to get the tracer when I do that of this guy, because we'll be doing that pretty soon. Let's get, he's going to have some stars on his hat. Same way. I'm going to start with one just right in the middle though, just to make it a little even. These are a little bigger, they're a little easier to make look like stars, but again, do not fear if they're not perfect. We just want them to be star-like. Cool, right? Anyone have plans for 4th of July? Be nice this year. We could maybe have some picnics and some fireworks displays. I think that it'd be kind of fun to be getting out now again. I'm just adding a little more to that little goatee to make it a little fuzzier or a little hairier or whatnot. There. Okay. A little bit of a tiny bit of a white comma maybe on his cheeks to give him a little bit of a fun, whimsical look. Yellow for the pole of the flag. So again, just like the fireworks, I am just going to go over that. Nothing fancy smancy. So if you wanted to do writing on the bottom or something down here, you would just do it in white first. And maybe if it was nice thick writing, even maybe 2 coats of white when the first is dry. Then you go over with your with your brighter color if you want it like a yellow, or you could just leave it with the white. And if you don't want to do it in just your handwriting, you can always go into like your Word document, the pages, whatever you have, pick out a font you like and print it out, you know, try to get it to the size you want, print it out, and you could just trace it on. Or a stencil. A stencil would be cool too. You might find a stencil with something on there. Okay. The only thing we really need to do now is darken up some of the red and fix that jacket. So I'm going to do that last. I'll do the red stripes next. And I'm not even going to worry about fixing that they're not even. I don't mind that. If that really bothers you, just trace on the design that I'll give you with the lines, and you can just do it very precise. But it's more fun just to kind of wing it, I think. And this second coat will just take away the pink look of it, and it will be more of a red. I'd love to know what you think. So let me know if you like my little Uncle Sam, if you think anything needs to be different or changed. I always value your input. It's rough. I might touch it up a little after, but I like the look of it. And I like it really works, I think, when we have that little shaded area under the flag there. And I'm going to go over this brim of his hat that's just going to be left red like that. I am just going to touch up the stripes here. So you can see it just gets a little more red, less pink. We don't want a pink Uncle Sam, do we? We need the red, white, and blue. And do a little bit. I'm going to outline his bow tie after, so we can tell that that's what that is. And as far as outlining, and even these little stars, if you were having an issue, the paint markers are wonderful to do details like that with. Since I forgot my paintbrushes, I forgot my paint markers, but there's Posca brand, or at Michael's in the craft shops, I don't know, there's all different brands. They are, unlike a Sharpie where it's just flat, but can use two. Paint markers actually have paint inside them. You shake them up, you get the paint mixed up, and it flows and looks just like paint, but you have the control of a pen. So they're really a cool little addition to your paint kit. So if you see those, you might want to try some. They come in all colors. You might just want white and black to start, but they do come in all colors. And after this is good and dry would be a good time, because I may go and outline some things on him. So you could do that with a marker. I wanted to put in a little buttons on his jacket too. So we'll do that, but again, since I want them yellow, I am going to start them with white and then pop the yellow on after, because it's a little bit of a darker background. So let's get these little stripes on first. So nice that it's summer and we're thinking of 4th of July. I'm in New England, and I'll have to say our weather's crazy, and it's been crazy, so it's nice when it's warm and it's warmer for the summer. Although it's been crazy here. We had 97 degrees last week, and the week before it was 47, and that is so typical for us here in New England. So you can see the little mistakes and little bits I want to touch up, which you can do afterwards, just at the end. You can, just anything you want to fix, you can go right over. It's very easy with acrylics to touch everything up. The only thing I'm not super happy with is my coat. So let me mix up a little bit of a blue and do a quick second coat on my jacket. I'll get this back. I'll get some blue here. And I just want another bit of light blue, just for that second coat. Cover up my little bits of red that I've transferred from my hand. I am not a neat painter by any means. As hard as I try, still a bit of a mess. Now I have this coat in my little sketch plain. I don't know if I want to add too much to it, because there's a lot going on with everything else as far as stars and stripes and fireworks and sparklers. I don't know if we need to add some you know, any too much detail besides the buttons to his coat. So I think that might be a way to leave that. Just covering the whole thing, and then I may add a little bit of a shadow on part of this, but let's just get it covered for now, nice and even. And no more red smudges from my hand. I can work fairly fast on something like that. You don't have to be too worried about it. Then I'll show you how to give it a little shadow. There's a couple of ways to highlight and shadow. Depending on what I'm painting, I either use like a dry if the paint is dry, I use a method similar to what we did on that flag. I use water on my brush and a little color. If I can work wet and wet, which I prefer to, you can get the paint to blend pretty nice for you. And I might try that here, even though the paint, if it's dried, I'll show you. So the paint on the blue is pretty wet right now. So what I'm going to do is I have the same little flat brush. It's got blue paint on it a little bit. Taking the corner into that dark blue, just like we did before with the color, and pat it out. So you can see it is just blending light into dark right on my brush. So I've loaded it with just the light blue. I've dipped the corner into some dark blue. Can you see that? Kind of. I'm trying to get under the light. And then I just pat it out. So say I want a little shadow under the lapel, say. I'm just doing it all in one stroke. I've got light blue and dark blue on my brush, and I am just doing that. And because the blue is wet, see how nice it just blends right for me. Might as well take that right down this side. And it just gives it a little something. So I may do that over here on this side of my coat. Just making it a little darker there. And again, I've run out of paint, so I'm just reloading with that light blue again. That's the color of the coat. I'm taking a little bit of the dark on my corner. And you can do the same thing with white on this to make it a highlight. It's not really showing up because I'm putting dark against the outside edge there, but I just like it, gives it a little dimension. And I think that's just enough. I just wanted a little something there to define the coat. Buttons, I'm going to do with the end of the brush. But I'm going to do them white first, just so I can get some yellow to show up. And they would be on the cuff here. Say there and there. Just a little something. If we wanted, we could have actually painted red cuffs on him if we want to get a little more fancy. Let's give him some buttons. So we'll just do a few buttons here. And when that's dry, we'll just pop on the yellow on top. Let me deal with my little hands a little bit because they are mitten-like, but I want to give them some sort of form. So I am going to give that, I can see the blue through, so I just want to give it a little bit of the flesh color. And now, actually, this bit of the flagpole would be going over there. So I'm going to bring that down in front of his thumb. Would that be? No, the thumb would be in front. The thumb would be in front. So let me just correct that. That's what I get for not planning it in time. Anyhow, they're just going to be little mitten hands, I think, for now, till I take a look at some hands holding things, and I'll fix those up for the real painting. I'll have that in the tracer. let's see. You have to stand back sometimes because you're so close to them and it's hard to tell. So do stand back sometimes from your painting. I'm going to outline the bow tie. And you know what? Let's put some little black buttons on his shirt because he's wearing like a little button-down shirt there. So let's just do that. So some little dots there. A little outline, little fine brush that we had. Whenever I'm doing detail like this or outlining, I water it down a little more. And I'm going to outline that bow tie so we know that that's what that is. It's getting lost there with his little goatee. And any bits you want, you can certainly outline. You want to outline this jacket or whatnot, you could put outlines. Oh, actually, you know what? I did want to put an outline of between this, but I wanted to do it yellow. So I'm going to put it in white over that and then do yellow. I just wanted a little touch of the yellow gold there. There. And then you can go back now and touch up any little bits you find. And like I said, I'm going to fix his hands so they're not looking so crazy afterwards. So when I give you guys the tracer, it will be a little bit better. But I think he's kind of cute already. What do you think? This little 4th of July thing to hang up. This mightn't be dry, but you could get the idea. I just wanted to do yellow here. I like that little pop of yellow. Yeah, I like that little pop of yellow. He could have had a yellow bow tie even. Painting doesn't have to look just like mine. Remember, use your imagination. Do whatever you would like. Oh, look at, you know what I did? No, you know what's bothering me is he's not holding the flag behind his back. It's in front of his coat. That might be what's mixing me up a little bit too. Let's fix that right now. That would be in front, of course. It will be better where it belongs in front. I will finish that. I don't want to keep you guys all day. I will finish that by adding a few more coats of white and then some yellow. Some writing, like I said, if you wanted to, but I think he's pretty cute. So if you like him and want to paint him, just put Uncle Sam in the comments and I will send you a message or send you a link to get the tracer for that. I'm going to do these little gnomes next. They're going to be little Uncle Sam gnomes. I know they look like clay because I've painted them gray first, but I'll show you why. I'll jump on the page and do that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Here's Uncle Sam, ready for 4th of July. Have a great day. Bye now.